Let's see if this works out.
All right, we're starting the show. Do you think you can?
Oh.
You think you can put down Fire Emblem for a second? Addiction to Fire Emblem. Welcome in to the Joy of Gaming. I'm Clayton.
I'm Miles.
He's my son. And we started this show as a way to just hang out, be able to talk about games, talk about the joys of gaming. And so today we're going to talk about one of our favorite new games, Fire Emblem Engage, which you were just playing. What level were you on right now?
I think I'm on level 14, I think.
14, which is like the Battle of
Solm. Yeah.
Okay, so we got this game. It was kind of like at the end of January it came out, and it was kind of a quiet period for Nintendo with some of the games. And so we got Fire Emblem. I had never played a Fire Emblem game before. Had you played a Fire Emblem game before? So we really didn't know what to expect. We knew it was a role-playing game. We knew that, but we didn't know much else about it. I had a couple of the... We both had a couple of the DS games, the 3DS games, right? But for whatever reason, in our move, when we were moving, we just didn't get to play those games. So, all right, Fire Emblem Engage. This is the new big one. It's very battle-focused. So what are your feelings about Fire Emblem so far in your first 14 chapters?
Well, I mean, I feel like the story in this game, it's like maybe more intriguing than the battles.
Really?
Yeah, because you get to like go along with your character and like find out find out all these mysteries along the way. It's not a mystery game, but
yeah. And what are some of your favorite characters so far?
I mean, the Divine Dragon, which is us.
Right, which is your lead character, right?
Right, yeah. And also Ike, which is an emblem that you get in, I think it's a city called the Oasis, like an oasis city. And because like Solm is kind of all over the place, the Kingdom of Solm, or Queendom as they call it.
The Queendom.
And like, yeah, it's just all over the place because like they couldn't find the emblem ring. And they're like, oh, is the ring in the doodad drawer or... Right.
Oh, I guess we should mention some spoilers because we talked about we were going to play Fire Emblem in a previous video. So some of the things I guess we'll talk about today are a little bit of spoilerish because we're about halfway through the game now. So if you're not interested in spoilers, maybe skip ahead a little bit. But we want to talk, I think we also...
Don't watch.
Don't watch, I guess. Or just watch one of our other videos right now. But I think... at the beginning, I was like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not really fully into this game at first. I was kind of like, do I really like this game? And now, like halfway through
addicting.
Now I'm addicted. Now I'm like really, really, really into this game.
Like, I remember you picked me up from school on the release date of Fire Emblem. And you're like, oh yeah, in Wharton, there's...
Which is a store, electronic store.
Yeah. They've released, Nintendo has released a new Fire Emblem Engage game. And I'm like, oh, okay.
You're like, what is this game? What is this thing you're talking about?
Yeah, I didn't even know what it was. And at first I'm like, okay, am I gonna like this? And now it's just addicting because now I just want to keep playing, keep seeing where this game goes, you know?
Yeah. No, it's been so much fun. Okay, so... let's talk about some of the mechanics of the game, some of the strategy of the game. So I wish I could kind of go back maybe even to the beginning and use some of my knowledge now that I have halfway through the game to go back and really add some of those early battles and be smarter about different things. So among the things that I've learned at the beginning, or now sort of halfway through, is making sure that I'm not going into battle underprepared. Like when I'm going into a battle, I want to make sure that all my characters have their appropriate weapons ahead of time. I want to make sure that they've been classed up. So if they have the experience points, then increase their class. You know, take the different characters to a general status or an advanced mage status, like before battle. Also before battle, making sure that I've got enough items. I've got enough vulneraries for hit points, to get back some of my energy, enough antitoxins that I'm buying, enough elixirs, things like that, right? And then also making sure that my weapons all have been upgraded, I've refined them at the blacksmith shop in the Somniel to make sure that they're strong enough. What are some of the other things that you do to prepare for battle?
Well, I mean, like you were saying, go to all these stores with the vulneries and just like get your swords inscripted.
Oh, right.
So like you could get it inscripted with like an emblem, I think.
Right.
Which is awesome, but then also buy all these different things that you can then just organize, that you'll know like, oh, this person uses magic.
Right.
So they can probably hit you, you know?
Right.
Or you can hit them. Yeah.
So, and then of course when you're at the Somniel, there's a lot of things you can do there as well. Like you can bond up. So there's things I didn't even realize that I could have been doing earlier, which is going into the ring chamber and bonding up different rings. So with all of those bond fragments that you're finding around, of course, on the grounds, you can then go and use those bond fragments to get bonded rings or polish your rings, right? So polishing the rings and getting them stronger, your emblem rings, so that in battle you're ready to go and you're not going to get crushed in battle. Mm-hmm. Some of the other things I've discovered also, so when I'm battling, I want to make sure that I'm like in a convoy. So, or, with everyone, because at the very beginning, I was sort of sending one guy off to go attack, and then he would get crushed.
Yeah.
Or he'd really get hurt, and I'm like, well, why? I have this whole team. So now, like at the Battle of Somme, what I tried to do was move my whole herd of my team in one big pack and really protect my divine dragon, the lead, from attacks.
So it's like a fleet.
Oh, like a fleet. And then I can also trade. So before each battle, if I'm going to convoy different items, you can convoy different items between your people. And if your divine dragon is right there in the middle of them, then you can of course trade. You can trade different different elixirs with different people on your team, and I can swap weapons and I can do sort of things like that.
But there was this one thing, because I know that we had to look it up. Like right now, I'm buying all these things, or like slaying this one person and getting a weapon, but then it says send to convoy. We're like, how do we access the convoy? What even is that?
Right.
And so I wish they would make like some things a bit more clear,
Yeah.
Because I didn't even know about most of the things, I mean, they did say, oh yeah, you can go back to the Somniel and buy weapons.
Right.
But
that is one of the criticisms of the game. That there's some of the menu stuff is a little complicated. You're like, well, what do I do with these bond fragments? This thing here.
Yeah, and they don't even say anything about the bond fragments, I don't think. They're just like, 500 bond fragments obtained, or,
Do you feel like now, because you've never played another one of the Fire Emblem games, do you feel like that this is an easy place for someone to jump in and just play this game without having like the history of the story of these emblems?
Oh, yeah. Because it gives you, like, some backstory, but also it's not really needed with your character.
Yeah.
Because, spoilers, but this, in the beginning, it'll show you, you're going to fight this bad guy, right? Where all the other emblems and everybody else is fighting.
Uh-huh.
I think you get killed or you win. It's one of the two. And then you get killed or you win, and then you wake up in this bed, in which you learn later is the Somniel.
Right. Sort of the home base.
Right.
The Somniel, yeah.
But then there's not much backstory needed, because the main character is also like, what's happening? So he doesn't even know.
Right.
And then it'll give you some backstory, like, oh yeah, these countries and stuff, or these kingdoms have been at war for something. And then there's Illusia, which we find out it has been the bad guys, and they want emblem rings,
Right. Yeah. Well, let's talk about just some of the aesthetics, the characters. I think, I'm having fun with the characters. I think they've been fantastic. I think they've been really interesting. I've been having so much fun with this as a turn-based role-playing strategy game. I'm really enjoying I'm enjoying the different interplay.
Right.
In the beginning, I thought some of the little scenes were maybe a little too long, and I was like, that maybe was sucking some of my energy out. I'm like, do I really want to keep going? But as the game progresses, it gets shorter, and now I'm really interested in the story, so I don't care about these little interstitials, like the chatting between battles, because to me it's like furthering the story quite a bit, and I enjoy it. I'm also loving. I love the music. I've been loving the music.
Yeah.
What do you think of the music? You play the piano. You have quite a musical ear. What do you think of the music?
I mean, yeah, it's great. Like the other day, I had to put in my earbuds because, well, I mean, somebody told me to. I think it was you.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just turned up my volume. This was on the airplane, and yeah, I just heard some of the music, and I'm like, whoa.
Well, isn't it cool too? Like, I think that's a reminder for people. Like, a lot of these soundtracks they're beautiful scores. Like, they're hiring an orchestra, right? They're writing great music, and the scores from a lot of our favorite video games over the years are beautiful scores. You know, we were just listening to the Octopath Traveler score, sitting down in the fireplace room by the fire.
We haven't even played the game yet.
I know. We have to play it, dig into Octopath, and I'm super excited about that. But I think that's a reminder to people to put on headphones to some of these games and really like immerse yourself in some of the sounds. Like the other day, I told you to put on when you started playing Metroid Prime, which we've got to come back to. So we've got to do an update video on Metroid Prime, where you are with that and where we are together. But just hearing some of the ambiance of that, of that world, but then the music, to hear like Fire Emblem with your headphones on, you're like, wow, this is a rich score. Really like this.
Now I'm like humming it, when I'm like walking down the stairs or something. I find myself just humming it.
Yeah, dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So and the battle scenes, and it's great to hear a lot of the music. What about the designs of the characters? So what do you think about, you love drawing, you love art. What do you think about the colors and the design, the sort of the anime look of these guys?
Well, I mean, first of all, I think it's really good. But then there's also the thought, oh my god, they drew that,
Right.
Like somebody had to come and design that whole thing. They just had a picture in their mind and just thought, oh, how about this,
Yeah.
for each of the different characters.
And there's been some criticism, the Colgate hair color of the Divine Dragon and so forth, and I don't care about that. I think it's just fantastic. I love it. I think it's been quite beautiful. So
people are criticizing his hair color?
Yeah, because it looks like Colgate toothpaste. They've called it blue and the red. And so they've it's like Colgate here, and I don't care about that. I think it's creative, and I think it looks gorgeous. I love the colors, the vibrancy, and I just have to say, all right, let's talk about the battle scenes. Okay, let's talk about the battles now, because to me, growing up, and you're going to experience this when we play like Dragon Warrior / Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy or any of the early role-playing games, the RPGs. The battles were very minimal. You didn't get like these big animations and all of these. And just to be able to, I think it's where you can see other games like really cheap out on some of the battles. Like what's cool in this situation is you've got where you are on the map, the battle map at the time, right? Let's say you're near a building, or you're near water, or you're near a bucket, or a feature, a tree, right? When you're gonna attack somebody. Well, when you go into the battle portion of the attack, you see all of those elements. Like it goes from the overhead view, and then it goes down into the battle, and you see that building, the obstruction that was blocking you, right? Like
I see in Fire Emblem, like the when you're you click on it, and I'm like, wow, behind them has so much detail, because you would just see it on the thing, from the overhead view.
Yeah.
But then also once you're in, you're like, wait, they still have the thing in the background. They still have that,
Right.
And they incorporate it just like you saw it in the overhead. But now it's more 3D.
So what has been your favorite thing about the game so far? What has stood out to you as some of your favorite experiences in Fire Emblem halfway through the game right now?
Well, I mean, the story is definitely, I think, one of the best parts for me,
Yeah.
Just because, takes you on this roller coaster. You don't know what's going to happen next, you know? like you could think, oh, I'm doing so great right now. We have all these emblem rings, and then bam, like
they're taken away from
yeah.
Yeah. I've been just loving this. It's been, for me, it's been like a return. What I've been loving about it is a return to strategy. Like, okay, as I'm going into this battle, like I just don't go and click, attack. Like I'm really thinking now through, okay, I've got a javelin. I don't want to be hitting another person with a javelin. If I have a javelin, I've got an extra few spaces to use, right? If I have a hand axe, that gives me an extra space away from a guy that I can attack, so I'm not right up on him. I can stay back. It gives me, it like helps me think about the strategy of everything. Like, oh, if I've got a mage, I've got someone who can use magic. Well, maybe I want to attack someone with heavy armor. So I'm looking for the person that has heavy armor, and then I'm keeping that mage back a little bit, and then firing some of the mage attacks. And then if I've got someone with a big heavy sword, like
You're kind of going on a rampage here.
No, rampage?
Or like a knowledge.
I'm dumping knowledge. I'm dumping some knowledge on people because I wish I would have known this, by the way. And by the way, shout out to Player Essence. OJ, I think over at his channel, was doing some really deep dives on some of the strategies on picking the right moves and making sure that you've got some space between attacks. Like if you've got a hand axe, like 1 to 2 range, like using elements, using items that give you extra range or extra. So that's really smart. So I've been really enjoying the strategy of it, like planning out the battle map and that kind of thing.
Right.
You know?
Like for me, it's like chess.
Yeah.
But like, cause I love chess. Now I'll just pick it up whenever I can, chess. But now this is like chess with swords and magic and all these type of things. I feel like it's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons type thing. It has all these different like magic swords. You could buy stuff,
Yeah.
And sometimes it'll introduce a new mechanic in the middle of the game, like, oh, that'll help me, But then also, there's that one thing with the Divine Dragon, where if you die, it'll automatically time crystal you.
Right, because he's your guy. He's your lead guy. So if you die, you're done, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the time crystal has been, and there's one scene, of course, spoiler, where you don't have access to the time crystal anymore, right? So
after Illusia, the cathedral.
So, okay, we're going to continue playing Fire Emblem. We're halfway through it. I think we'll come back and do like a wrap-up video once we complete it. But I would say right now, for us, halfway through this game, no matter where you're coming from, even if you're just starting, you've never played a Fire Emblem game before, we think you can jump right in?
Yeah, you can just jump right in. And then maybe after go back and play some of the other games before it. You know?
Yeah, because I got 3 houses. Like I want to go back and play that. So I want to do that. I think
I also have that on 3DS.
Yeah, you have, and you also have Fire Emblem Awakening on 3DS also. So some other games that we can dive into, some of the history of those as well. So yeah. So guys, I think it's a lot of fun. Enjoy the music. Put on headphones to Fire Emblem, and we will continue to play this. And we're going to have more videos here real soon on that. We're also starting out some new videos where, again, we're going to be showing Miles some classic games, late 80s, early 90s games, not just Nintendo, but Genesis as well. And so you can come on our journey here on the channel. And where you can follow along, getting him to play some classic games for the very first time. And maybe you never played some of these games back in the day. It'll be an awesome opportunity for you to grab your son or daughter and play along with us on this journey. So drop us a comment below. What do you guys think about Fire Emblem? Have you been playing it? Are you thinking about playing it? And we will see you next time, everyone. Bye.
Bye.